Why do we get married? Because the first mitzvah in the Torah is Pirur Vu, Milut Haaretz. You have to have children. The mitzvah is to get married, and it's the first mitzvah of 613 in the Torah. It pains my heart when I'm contacted by a woman who's 42, 44, men who are 55, 56, never married. I say to them, if you don't get it together, you're going to have to come back. You're going to have to come back. You're put on this planet to have children. If you don't have a family, you're going to check out and check in again as another Gilgul, but you're coming back. So you better get it right, and the earlier the better. The mitzvah is to get married is the first mitzvah of all 613 commandments in the Torah. It's not optional. It's a religious and spiritual obligation. The Gemara tells us that when we die and our souls go up to the world to come, we're going to be asked a number of questions. The minute we come in front of the Beit Din Shemala, what are the questions they're going to ask us? Number one, did you do business fairly and honestly? Did you set aside time to study Torah? Which can be anything today. You have a little time in your car, so put on a Torah Anytime clip. What's the difference? You can listen to a CD, a shiur today. You can read books. There's no excuse today why you can't learn. None. They won't accept any of it. Because we live in a technologically very sophisticated world, and it's available to us everywhere and anywhere. And next, the next question they'll ask us, did you have a family? I'd like to share a true story with you of what happened to a friend of a certain author on a flight to Israel. He was flying from London to Tel Aviv because the booking was last minute. He wasn't able to get all his family and children in one seating area, so they were scattered throughout the plane. He found himself sitting next to a guy he never met before, and as people do, they talk about everything under the sun. You know, you're sitting next to people on the plane, you chat. As the flight progressed, his children kept coming and going. He had 5 kids. Abba, I need this. Mommy, can you get me that? Where's the yogurt? Where's my magazines, etc. The man was intrigued who was sitting next to him, and he asked my friend, are all those your kids? My friend answered, yes. The other man said, I don't have any children. You want to know why I don't want to have children? If you want to tell me, my friend responded. The man told him the story. My wife grew up with an abusive mother and an alcoholic father. It was a difficult life, but she came through. When I married my wife, we could have a conversation. Honey, should we have kids or should we not have kids? And they had this conversation, he's telling him. After a few days of discussing, we decided, no kids. We're not having children. We felt it would be immoral to have children. Isn't that amazing? The world is such a horrible place, so many wars, so much suffering and starvation and cruelty. How can we bring children into such a world? My friend, the author writes, thought for a few moments and gave the following answer. He answered him brilliantly. You're right. The world can be a terrible place with wars, famines, and suffering. That's exactly why we wanted to have children, to make the world a better place. It's true that the world can be very cruel, but we humans are responsible to improve it for ourselves and the next generation. By not having children, you're avoiding the problem. By having children, we're fixing the problem. In Jewish thought, one of the most important accomplishments is to create a family and improve the world. Tikkun Olam. The Green Movement uses an excellent slogan, and we want to live by it. Think globally, act locally. We want to act locally in our own family, in our own nucleus. We want to make a better world, but the way to do it is in our homes towards our families. Let me hit you with some statistics. Assume one young man and one woman marry. Now let's assume they have a small family. 2 children. Each of their children has a small family of only 2 kids. In the geometric progression, the number of descendants doubles in every generation. The couple has 2 children, 4 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, 16 great-grandchildren. After 10 generations, this man and woman has 1,024 descendants. After 20 generations, there'll be 1,048,000 descendants. After 24 generations, which is a mere 600 years, this couple has produced 16,700,777 descendants. That's how important it is to have a family. Starting from 2, 600 years later, each one just having 2. That's close to the Jewish population of the entire world today. See the power of having a family. When you decide to marry, you're making more than a personal decision. You're ultimately affecting the entire Jewish people. Another reason why you want to get married. Marriage should make you a better you. Let me read something to you in Hebrew that Rav Shalom Arush wrote. Our purpose of living in this world is to attach ourselves to God. If that's the case, it would seem to be far easier to attach myself to God if I was single. Why would I need the albatross of a wife and a mortgage and insurance payments and tuitions and all that stuff? Isn't it much easier if I'm single? The Qur'an, he says, I can arrive to that, my goal in this world, by being single. Why are you sabotaging me and give me all that responsibility? Why is there an obligation to get married? And whoever doesn't get married is punished severely. As we saw Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron Cohen, who perished because one of the reasons why they were killed, they didn't marry. They didn't want to marry. They were too good for every girl. Right? If our entire premise is to serve God better, why should I get married? The answer to the question is like this. When Hashem created man, He made him as a combination of male and female. And anything that doesn't have the combination of male and female together is not considered a complete entity. So that if I live in an apartment and I'm by myself and I'm single, the Shekhinah won't come down. The Shekhinah will come down and reside with every married couple. Because you have to have male and female residing there. But if a person desists and does not want to get married, he's chasing the Shekhinah away. Because Hashem requires a zechar nekeva to be there. As a matter of fact, the Shekhinah it comes from the female. And if we look at it and we put it into a microscope, he writes the following: through the hardships and through the difficulties of being married is how you're purified and how your character is developed. As long as you're single, no one tells you what to do. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want it. So you're never going to rein in your ego. You're never going to fix yourself. By living with someone under the same roof, you rub elbows. You learn what humility is. You learn what teamwork is all about. As long as you're alone, no one tells you what to do. And as a result, you have elements of your personality, your midot, are not perfected. And it's through the wonderful framework of marriage that your midos are perfected. You become kinder, more compassionate. You become more tolerant. You become a better nurturer. You become more sensitive. As long as you don't have people to care for, you don't have the appreciation for that. You'll never become the best you can be. And you will put on this world to be the best you can be. You're here to perfect yourself. And through the marriage, through the framework of marriage, is how you become a superstar. When you're tested, when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you have to get up to change that diaper, that's how you get tested. But that's what perfects you. That's what increases your bandwidth as a human being. That's what makes you your best you. So that's why it's important to realize that only through the framework of marriage can you become your best you. So, another why. So why can't people commit? What's going on?